Hello, everybody, and welcome tonight here to Bristol Motor Speedway. And if you came here for some asphalt racing, you're in the wrong place. We got dirt racing here tonight here in the ARCS iRacing Monday Night Lightning Series for you. We got 80 laps, but first we got a couple heat races. My name is Zach Wetstein. I'm here tonight with my father, Sam Wetstein. How you doing tonight?
I'm ready to have some fun. If somebody told me they were going to put dirt down in Bristol and race cup cars, I'd have said, "You're crazy."
Yeah, I think that's everybody before last year when they announced that they were going to bring this on. But I don't think it disappointed for the Cup Series or the Truck Series today, and looking forward to seeing these drivers here tonight on this track. Right now we got Trey Kirk has the fastest time out there. No surprise, he was fastest in practice. And tonight we got, like I mentioned, a couple of heat races to do before the main feature. The top two from qualifying, which are Trey Kirk and Samuel Roberts, will move on automatically to that feature. So those two don't have to worry about a thing, but Jeremy Brialt in third and everyone below him have to advance through that one of the heats.
Yeah, it's a return to some Saturday night dirt action. It should be interesting to see a lot of different scenarios acting out. It's going to be fun.
It really is. I'm looking forward to this. As qualifying is coming to a close, we have 18 drivers here tonight. So we're going to have 8 drivers per heat, it looks like. And the top 6 from each one will make it. So, I mean, that makes sense. We have 18 drivers, two make it automatically. That leaves 16, so we're going to do 8 per heat. And Jeremy Brialt is going to lead this group of 8 cars to the green flag. And these heats are going to be 10 laps, I believe. Yes, 10 lap heats. So not a lot of time. And if you're outside of that top 6, which luckily for these drivers, there's only 2 spots out of that top 6. So when you start this race, if you're 7th and 8th, you're not far from that cutoff spot. Unlike if there were maybe 12 to 14 or whatever drivers in this heat, it would make it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, the more cars, the worse it would be. So we could get some separation here and actually get a little bit of racing in. I don't think we'll see any of the 3 wide stuff that we saw earlier today, but hey, who knows?
Jeremy Brialt and Jacob Fifield starting out in the front row here, first and second. Elliott Longenecker in third with Ray Page on his outside in fourth. Stephen Downton starting this one in fifth with Trey Bass in that cutoff spot in sixth. Thomas Andrews in the 2 and Donald Ray in the 14 are outside looking in right now, but they got 10 laps to try to get into that top 6. One of them can get in, both of them can get in, or both can be out. So we don't know what's going to happen here. Still a lot left to be decided on who's going to make this race. If you're up front or even in that second row, you got to just be concerned about not wrecking because you're in a really good position if you just don't wreck your car.
Yeah, yeah, that's the best thing to do right here tonight. I think in these heat races is to just keep your equipment, keep on the track, and I think you'll transfer over. It's going to be neat to see a 4-car B main though.
We're about to find out. Oh yeah, we have a B main as well, and I can't remember how many. I don't remember how many they said from the B main makes it. That's my only problem here, is I forget that. But yeah, the drivers who don't make it will be able to have one last shot in that B main.
I believe just the winner transfer from the B main.
Here we go. Pace trucks off. The first heat is underway as Jeremy Brialt and Jacob Fifield lead the group to turn 1. And a tough start for Jacob Fifield on that outside in the 43.
Yeah, he did not get going, and then when he did get going, it went the wrong direction.
Jeremy Brialt, though, he's out to a good lead. Elliott Longenecker up to second.
That gets the product of being an asphalt racer. You want to go, you floor it, but you're on dirt, you're going to spin.
Contact behind him. Trey Bass is around. No cautions in heats, though, so that really hurts that 55 as he's now outside of the top 6. I forgot about that, how they don't have caution in heat races.
No, you start to finish. You want to get back out there, though, because you never know. We got another spinner over by the entrance pit road.
Stephen Downton. Yeah, Stephen Downton. We're here with the 54. He he got loose and he was down on the inside line next to pit road. So now he's in 7th. Trey Bass has pulled it into pit road. His race not gone the way he wanted it, but you got Steven Downton here. He's now on the outside looking in. He's in 7th, and he is about a second and a half behind Thomas Andrews. So he has a lot to make up here in 6 laps.
I think, he knows his race is over. He's going to have to go to the B main. I would get some more time out on track. You're going to have to race again. Get used to the track, and might help you in the B main.
74, though, Jeremy Brialt has looked good all heat long. And, I mean, he's just running smooth up front. Nobody in front of him to maybe throw some dirt up on his windshield. So he has a clean car right now. Elliott Longenecker behind him in 2nd in that 5 machine. Elliott hoping to have a better race and better luck than the real 5 did today with Kyle Larson in the real race. Ray Page sitting this one 3rd. Oh, he gets squirrely out of 2, but he holds that. You do not want to wreck right now out of 3rd. You are safe, but it could turn in an instant. That's why you can't quit if you're Steven Downton in 7th. One wreck could get you back into the main feature. Jacob Fifield in the 43. We saw him have a bad jump. He's back up to 4th, so a good recovery there. Donald Ray in that 14 Ford Mustang sitting 5th with Thomas Andrews in that final 6th position to make it into the features. We have 2 laps to go, and Jeremy Brialt looks to finish it up.
Yeah, and Steven Downton must have been listening to me. He's out there still making laps, even though he's 5 seconds away from the cutoff. But getting some laps and going a lap down, he's at least he's getting some laps on the track, getting a little warm up before the B main.
Jeremy Brialt going down the back stretch, just needs to finish it off. He's 8/10 ahead of Elliott Longenecker, so he doesn't have to have a perfect turn. Just make it around, get to that start-finish line. Jeremy Brialt is going to win the first heat of the night, and I'm not sure if the heats work like I think they do, but like I think they maybe work like they do in Daytona to open the NASCAR season. First heat will decide the inside row and the second heat outside, or the other way around. So either way, if it is that way, then Jeremy Brialt's going to start in that 2nd row.
Yeah, I believe that is the case. I'm not sure which row this heat was for, but it'll be one of them.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm not the neither of us are the biggest dirt people, so we're doing this race or doing these heats in the feature the best we can, while trying not to confuse ourselves.
Yeah, the biggest experience I got with dirt is when I was a child. I ate some.
I can confirm I have not done that, I don't think. I may have eaten some grass, but not dirt. We have our 2nd heat up now, and another 8-car heat. We'll see if Keith Thurst, he might be race control. He has been before. So a 7-car heat it's going to be here, and we'll look at your lineup. David Hawk's going to start this one on the pole position with Daniel Roberts starting on the outside in 2nd. Kobe Roberts starting 3rd in that 22 machine. He's looking to have the same luck the real 22 did today. Michael Swink starting on the outside of the 2nd row in 4th, with Jonathan Hohenbrink starting 5th. Alex Simkowski is in that cutoff spot, and Patrick Allen is in the final position of this heat, and 1 spot out right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I'd wanted to be in this heat. I got one less car I got to deal with. The first heat was, for the most part, the guys drove really well on the dirt. So if anybody's surprised, I wouldn't be. We got some really good drivers in this league, and respectful and patient, but fast as well.
I imagine it does, but I'm not sure. I would think they're just carrying over the track state from the previous races, but this, I don't know, it looks pretty fresh here, so maybe they're resetting it.
I did look into that. 0% carries over. So they are refreshing the track at each stage of the
I'm not the biggest dirt person, like I said, but I have raced dirt this week at this track, and I can definitely tell this is a fresh track. You'll see that, you see all that darker area on the top that not raceable right now, because that's not there's no grip up there, so you want to race below that for now. And really, we'll probably see it come in during the feature, just because there are 80 laps. When you only run 10 laps on this track, it's really tough for that top line to come in. So You're going to see these drivers drive below that for the most part. As the green flag is out, David Hawk, Daniel Robertson, they're spinning already. David Hawk in the 21. Wow. He spun the tires, so did the 30 of Michael Swink, but he did a great job at keeping it straight. And, oh, there's more contact. They're wrecking. And Alex Simkowski around. A lot less of a clean start to this one than we did the first one. But that helps Daniel Roberts in the 30. I don't know why I called him Michael Swink's in the 18 in this series. I apologize. I'm used to him being in the 30. As Daniel Roberts now leads this heat. And, well, it looks like my ticker doesn't like to work in multiple heats. So we're going to have to pull up a different one here for you guys. There we go. So Alex Simkowski now going a lap down. And he's just going to hopefully stay on the track in case someone does wreck out. But right now, Patrick Allen, he has nobody really fighting him for that spot now. He just needs to not wreck that car. As we had a battle going on between Jonathan Hohenbrink and Michael Swink, 20 in the 18 there, but Hohenbrink has taken that position, is actually starting to run away with it now. As we are already almost halfway into the second heat.
Seeing a lot of guys running that top groove up in that darker stuff that you were talking about earlier. Trying to find a way around with that.
Yeah, the main thing you'll notice, I mean, you look at Roberts here, he's below it. If you see these drivers go into that stuff, you're going to see a lot of dust kick back out of their tires, and you do not want to see that. I mean, you'll see some as, oh, no, big damage to the 19 there as he runs into the wall. You see all that dark dust coming out the back. You don't want to see.
Got a battle for the lead.
You don't want to see that much. That's second position, but yeah, close to the lead. No, you're fine. As Kobe Roberts comes up here and takes that second spot away. The 22 looking strong right now. But yeah, if you're up in that dark stuff on top when it's not kind of grooved in, there's no grip, and you'll see. I mean, you'll see a lot of kickback out of the tires in terms of dust and stuff anywhere on a dirt track, obviously. But it's when you see kind of that heavy dust out of the back where you'll have less grip. So you don't really want to be up there until it's raceable. Because once you have, you know, the 14, 18 cars, however many we'll have in the feature, all running on that low to middle groove, that's when it's going to start to slick off and they'll move up. But like I said, not too many laps, or not enough laps in the heat and not enough cars to really make that top really workable right now. You do see them working like right on the brink of it, like right on the edge, but you don't want to be fully in that stuff.
And one of the things they do to prep, and the 22 spinning around, we got to change in second place. The 99 staying out, that's helped him. We've got a car that he's passed already. Basically what they do to get this track ready is wet it down. So that's basically mud up top, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff I learned from the NASCAR broadcast itself, but yeah, that's just a lot of mud up there, and you don't really want to get into it until that line moves up. And as the heat race comes to an end, as I apologize, but Kobe Roberts, no, not Kobe Roberts,
Daniel Roberts.
Daniel Roberts, sorry, won that heat race. So it looks like now we're just going to move on straight to the feature, it looks like.
Yeah, the winner of the first heat lines up third. Winner of the second heat lines up fourth. So the second heat was for the outside row.
So, but yeah, to continue that idea, you'll start to see the bottom to middle groove slick off, and you'll see it like it looks shiny almost, or really it just looks shiny when you start to lay down rubber and slick it off. And that's when you'll start to see that that upper cushion move up more. And the more that moves up, the better you'll be off running up there. But if it's not moved up and all that kind of mud and dust up there, you have a possibility of losing the car because the rear tires just have nothing to really grip onto.
So we're going to see a 5-minute, I believe, warm-up period here between the heat races and the main.
Hey, let's take this time to look at the schedule.
This is a warm-up, yeah.
Let's take a look at the schedule while they get ready for the main feature.
All right.
So you see the laps on the Bristol dirt that is changed. It's not 125 laps anymore, and no stages. So we'll just have 80 laps here tonight. No stages, only cautions by wreck here tonight. But in a couple of weeks, we head to Martinsville, and we'll be right back to the normal with stages. 250 laps at Martinsville. Not an easy race at all. 65 laps for the first 2 stages, and then 120 to round out the third stage. So my favorite track in NASCAR. I'm looking forward to it. This is today. It gets tough after this, but there's, in my opinion, no tougher race than the race we're running tonight. And I think that says a lot because we run at Darlington, Talladega, Martinsville, Richmond. But I seriously I don't think there's a bigger challenge than Bristol dirt.
No, and Bristol would just been a regular old Bristol, but you put dirt on it, it makes it something special, something different.
I practiced the Xfinity car here at Bristol, regular Bristol, to see maybe if I would want to run some B-Fix this week. And man, the track, I said it when I raced in a truck race earlier today. It's harder to get used to regular Bristol once you've run dirt Bristol than it was to get used to dirt Bristol after you've run regular Bristol for so long. It's crazy how much this dirt changes the track. While the dirt is tough, you're able to, I don't know, on corner exit, you're able to stay on the gas a lot longer. And so you get back onto regular Bristol and you try to stay on the gas on exit, and it gets tight and you hit the wall. The track seems so much skinnier. It's crazy.
The dirt's a lot more forgiving.
Yeah, absolutely. If you make a little mistake, it's a little bit more forgiving than regular Bristol. But nonetheless, I love Bristol, whether it has dirt on it or not. I think NASCAR-wise, what people are liking a lot about dirt is not only that it's something different, but really it's the closest thing we've had to old Bristol since they repaved the track.
And these tires are different than the tires you're going to use at asphalt Bristol, where those are slicks, and if you start to spin, you're going to go. These tires do have traction on them, so they will be digging into that dirt to give you a little bit of, you actually want your tail end to slide around a little bit. Problem comes after you've worn that off and you're racing on slicks again.
Yeah, these cars have those treaded patterns, and they're at least in NASCAR. I'm not sure about iRacing, but I'm pretty sure iRacing based their tires off of the NASCAR tire. So basically cubed treading, and a lot of it, like you said, to help gain traction on the dirt. And yeah, once you want to get the back end of the car swung out a little bit, but not too much, because that'll wear that right rear out really fast. So a lot to think about tonight, on top of the fact that these guys just don't run dirt all the time. And so man, that is just
that makes it more interesting.
So many different challenges that dirt Bristol brings. Regular Bristol has its challenges, but it's just, you can't compare it to how many different challenges there are to dirt Bristol. When you talk about, that groove, it moves throughout the race, and you got to be knowledge to know when you need to move up or when you need to move back down. And I mean, in the races I've done, I've just followed people that I think are better than me and done what they did to try to find the right groove to race in. That's where you'll see the people who are more skilled in dirt or have done dirt a lot will know kind of when the right time to do go to a different line in these races. So we're getting ready to go racing here, Dad. So let's go through the grid here tonight. We're gonna have looks like all 17 drivers made it. I believe 18 is the max you can make it for the feature. So all 17 did make it looks like.
Alrighty.
All right, Trey Kirk and Samuel Roberts, they're going to qualify they qualified first and second, so they didn't have to race in those heat races. That'll be your front row. Jeremy Briault in third, with Daniel Roberts starting this one in fourth. Fifth place is going to go to Elliott Longnecker, with sixth on his outside, David Hawk. Seventh will be Ray Page in the 41, with Kobe Roberts starting this one in eighth.
In ninth place, we've got Jason Fifield, with Jonathan Hohenbrink to his outside in 10th. Donald Ray starts 11th. Michael Swink coming in 12th. Thomas Andrews in the 2 car starting 13th with Alex Zimkowski in 14th. 15th goes to Stephen Doughton with 16th starter Patrick Allen, and to round out the field, 55 a Trey Bass starting in 17th spot.
And we're ready to go racing here for 80 laps in this main, if I'm correct. Yep, 80 laps. It's going to be an exciting one, a thrilling one, and maybe just a tad bit of wrecking.
And let's see here. Donald Ray and Michael Swink have been getting EOLs to move to the back of the field. And it's going to be an interesting start. We've had the heat races were interesting, but now we've got all the fast guys together up front, and we get to see these guys battle it out to take the lead in the main.
Yeah, and we get to see that groove change a little bit more. We talked about more laps, more cars running on it. It changes faster when you have more tires on it, so I'm really looking forward to it. You already see, did they carry over from the second heat to this race, or from practice for the warm-up? Because it does look a little, there's a little bit of slickness in that middle groove
I believe it did carry over from the warm-up, but not from the race.
Okay, because you can already see on the entry of the turn already a little bit of that slick stuff, but not enough to warrant these drivers to move up just yet. But we're coming to the green flag. The pace truck is off. Trey Kirk, Samuel Roberts leading us to the green flag here tonight. They are off. The green flag is out. 80 laps here at Bristol Dirt.
Just love everybody wiggling. Oh, and we've got some wrecking going on. I guess that would be wrecking on asphalt. That's just sliding around on dirt.
Yeah, we saw a driver slide up to that very outside, and that is just not where you want to be right now, in my opinion, just because there's not a lot of grip up there just yet. Elliot Longenecker struggling with grip right now, and he's around. And nowhere to go for a lot of these cars behind him. Big contact. And that is a huge stack up, and they're still spinning. Caution is out. We do have 2 quick repairs here tonight, so we're going to see some of those used already.
Unlimited tires, but of course, if you're coming down to get tires, I've been told that's not a good thing. Fuel's not an issue, and yeah, that was an interesting start, seeing everybody left and right spinning those tires and wiggling down the front stretch.
Let's take a look at what happened here. We're going to come back live to you. Elliot Longenecker struggled a little bit on the front stretch. You see him getting squirrely, then enters the turn, and man, that thing just swings all the way around. No grip, and unfortunately, a lot of these cars just know where to go, and it keeps stacking up even further. As you see, Alex Zimkowski there, along with the 14 of Donald Ray, into the wall, and you can see that engine, so that's no good.
The 19 car getting the wave around.
First caution of the night. I forgot to do something with my graphics, so I'll do that while we're under caution here. iRacing Live Timing released a new update for custom colors for the ticker, but unfortunately not all of them, some of them blend into their background, and so it's no good. So I guess that caution will help me get this in order.
Yeah, I'm having a little problem with my sim racing app, so it must be in infection.
Oh no, I've known it for a couple days now. I just forgot to change it in this one, unfortunately, but well, there we go, and the next time it comes around, it'll change to, actually, yeah, it'll change next time around to what it usually is. There we go. Now you can see everybody's numbers just fine. As Trey Kirk, Samuel Roberts, and Jeremy Brialt, your top 3 all stayed where they qualified. David Houck, Kobe Roberts, and a lot of drivers behind him moved up some spots. Trey Bass, he avoided that wreck in the 55. He's already up 9 spots.
A lot of movers and shakers from some wrecking, some going backwards. The wrecks causing other people to go forward, and some people just driving right on by.
Yeah, it's very tough to avoid wrecks here, even on regular asphalt. It's tough to avoid wrecks, or it's asphalt or concrete? I can't remember.
It's concrete.
Concrete. Even on the concrete here, it's really hard to avoid wrecks, but at least you have grip when you brake. Here, you just don't.
And as I heard earlier on the national broadcast, you're already turning left, so as hard as you can, just so that where are you going to turn?
Right, and once they're right in front of you, there's almost nowhere to go. As we're about to go back racing here, Trey Kirk, Samuel Roberts, still your front row. The green flag is back out here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Already a bunch of cars sideways to 21. And, oh, boy, got to be careful back here, trying to avoid the slow cars. And Simkowski slowed down real quick. He didn't want to waste that second quick repair.
No. And we got a battle for the lead between the 15 and the 24. Oh, and the 15 just left it hanging a little too long. Didn't get a good traction to get down that straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like these drivers.
A little bumping.
It looks like these drivers are just, and I know what pain they're going through right now. I ran NIS earlier in the week. If you stomp on that gas here, you're gonna spin your car out. So you got to be very easy on the gas, or else you are going to spin out, or almost spin out at least. So you got to be very careful at this track on restarts. And we're seeing the different. I mean, you're starting to see all these drivers, about 17 cars running on track, and you're starting to see that higher groove is starting to move up more. And spinner, Ray Page. He is stopped on track, but on the technical apron, you can't see the apron just because they put dirt on top of it. Man, he cannot get going here.
He might have some steering damage.
But because he was down on.
There he goes.
But because he was down on what you would call the Bristol apron, he was able to not bring out the caution. But yeah, the more these drivers drag that right rear tire right next to that groove, you're going to keep knocking up more and more dirt up to the top. So yeah, we're already starting to see that middle groove slick off a little bit, and that top groove move up a little bit more as we keep going on. And by the end of this race, I imagine we'll have right rear quarter panels touching the wall. That's how close they'll be.
So your goal here is to stay off the shiny, and the more you do that, the more shinier it gets. You got to move up a little bit more, and you move up, and it just keeps throwing that dirt to the stands. Yeah,
you're seeing Trey Kirk right now. He's running above that shiny stuff and right on the cushion there, if you want to call it a cushion, next to that high line. So yeah, I mean, at some point, and it might not be now, but you are starting to see them move up. Once you start running in that slick stuff, you don't have as much grip. And so, you know, you can stay full, you can stay on the gas fully up here on the top, but when it slicks off on the bottom, you have to let out or else you'll spin out. And I think that might be what we saw from Elliott Longenecker earlier. He entered on the low line, maybe turned the car a lot or too much and stayed on the gas. And I mean, you saw what happened. The car just spun around. As right now,
54 sending it. He's a lap down, running in a modified.
Oh no! When he's spinning
and into the wall.
Gotta be very careful when you're wrecking here. As right now the battle's on for second. Oh, trouble! As I think a lap car, Trey Bass, maybe got in the way of that battle. And oh no, they're gonna make contact. A lot going on here right now on lap 18 of 80. I can tell you, I'm not familiar with calling dirt races, but your heart's pumping a lot more when you're broadcasting these compared to regular asphalt or any paved racing.
Yeah, normally you would just look for somebody going sideways and focus on the wreck, but everybody's going sideways.
Yeah.
What do you do?
As, man, that 22 sliding a little bit there on the middle lane, and you got to be, that's the tricky thing. When you enter the turn right behind somebody, you got to be careful, because if you enter too hard and they check up, oh, that's the end of that. So got to be very careful. We see Jeremy Brielt. He's moved back up to third. Right now, Trey Kirk a 4-second lead over Jeremy here, and he's about to get, or might get passed by Kobe Roberts there in the bottom. Maybe a little bit of a slide job, not much of one.
And a crossover move back from Jeremy. Oh, that's some
Yeah.
good racing right there.
Great racing here for the 3rd position. Oh!
Oh, and he got that shiny. And that put an end to that battle.
Yeah, now it's a battle for the 5th position as Elliott Longenecker there in the 5 looks to work that outside line, and he does. You can make the bottom work, but you really got to be careful on the throttle at this point. I mean, they're not right next to that wall yet, but they will be soon.
Yeah, it looks like as if it's been cut in half already, and the 74 runs into the wall, trying to get up there into that traction.
Right now it's really separated up here, but we do have some racing going on back here. Oh, in the wall, the 20 of Jonathan Hohenbrink. He is really slow right now hitting that wall, and man, you get into that wall, you got to be very patient. Because if you turn that wheel left too much trying to get off of it, then you'll just fly off of it and fly to the inside wall. So you got to be very careful.
Then all of a sudden you grab a little traction and boom, you hit the wall, your night's over.
Alex Simkowski in the 99 trying to battle back after that early wreck, but he's going to go a lap down. Trey Kirk is putting on a clinic right now. 25 laps in, 3.5 seconds ahead of Samuel Roberts. And I've been keeping an eye on Kobe Roberts. He made a pass for 3rd. He's up 5 spots. Started this race in 8th, and he's only a second, and now actually under a second back from Samuel Roberts. So I mean, he is on the move.
Yeah, he's had some interesting battles getting up here, and a battle with the wall right now.
Honestly, I don't want to talk too much about the NIS I was in, but the last 2 laps of my oh no, wrecking in front of him. That's Trey Bass on his lid. And that's going to bring, I mean, that has to bring out a caution, right?
I would think so,
yeah. A car on his lid, you would think so. They might have iRacing.
Don't have a caution yet.
They might have iRacing green or yellow flags off, and they had to do it themselves.
And the caution is out now.
Yeah, there it is. I think they have iRacing yellows off, and they throw it at their discretion. Oh, yeah, because we do have one race control here tonight. We're going to take a look at what happened. Unfortunately, lap traffic and lead lap cars getting into it as Trey Bass here in the 55. Looks like he got loose on entry, and that car just spun right around. We'll check it out.
Yeah, he's out of control, going sideways. Oh, and the 22 gets into him. I think race control might have waited to see if he landed on his wheels and could keep going.
I don't know. Even if he did land on his wheels, that's dangerous. He's right in the middle of the track.
Yeah.
You know, if he was on the bottom like the car was earlier, then that's okay. But, man, right in the middle of the track, that's very dangerous, especially when we talked about you can't brake very well here.
So I wanted to come and look at the damage on the 22, and if it's an iRacing glitch, I don't see any.
He did definitely make contact, but then you saw him kind of netcode through him when he was upside down. Once a car's upside down, you're no longer making contact with them. They pretty much go invisible. So there is definitely damage to that front end of the car. The biggest concern is the motor. But, I mean, I've made contact here this week like that, and my motor was just fine. So I think he'll be okay.
Yeah. And we've had some takers down pit road off the lead lap.
Let's take a look at the pit road camera there. You got actually Jeremy Brialt in the 74.
99. The 43 of Jason Fifield is on pit road.
And Jeremy Brialt, we've seen the speed he had. I mean, he started third, won that first heat race, so we know he has speed, and he's going to be starting, it looks like, in the 7th position as we have 8 cars on the lead lap. As you see, Jacob Fifield is able to get out on the lead lap.
I believe we're going to end up with, oh, did he? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But, man, I don't think anyone has anything for Trey Kirk this race. I talked to Elliott Longenecker before the race, and we were joking around about how, you can just hand it to Trey, and I joked about how Kyle Larson, if he was if they handed it to him before the race, they would have given it to the wrong person. But the difference between Trey Kirk and Kyle Larson is Trey Kirk, he started out front and has the pleasure of staying out front the entire time so far. Kyle Larson had to work through traffic, and that's what caught him in a wreck. So Trey Kirk, he got the pole, did a really nice job, and he's done a nice job so far at every time he has to restart, building a big gap over second Samuel Roberts.
Yeah, I think the only threat to Trey Kirk right now is getting through lap traffic. So we saw the lap car of Trey Bass, catch the 22 there. So, but luckily the 22 has stayed in his position.
Speaking of the 22, that's one person I'm kind of excited to see up here with the leaders now with this restart, because he was heading for the second position before that lap car hit him. So he could have speed for our leaders here as the green flag's about to come back out, and another squirrely restart possible with and a lot better job done by these drivers. They've looks like they've learned from past restarts. Which, I mean, that's how you learn, just by going through it. As right now, the 24 slid a little bit more than he wanted to, but he's able to keep the lead as the 15 of Samuel Roberts does still have to battle. Jeremy Brialt is already up here to the third position. He started in 7th. And wrecking into him. Samuel Roberts in the 15 wrecks into the 74, Jeremy Brialt, and they are still going, but the front end of that 74 is gone. And the more wrecking. And this is just a product of Dirt Bristol.
Look at old Elliott Longnecker's moved up into second place. Does he have anything to catch up with Trey Kirk?
And before any of you, and I'm not saying you guys are, but before any of you judge how this race is going, this basically is how the NASCAR race went. So,
yeah.
I mean, and this is just such a tricky surface to race on. No one's ever raced on this high of banking in dirt before. 19 degrees of banking, that's just insane for dirt. So it's nothing like anything else any dirt racer has ever done. So as many green flag laps as we've had in a row tonight on these green flag runs, I'm impressed. Honestly.
We've got a car around on 1 and 2.
Try to find who that is, but I could not.
Yeah, we're starting to see, like you said earlier, the wall is coming into play because that the traction up top is getting very, very skinny.
Not sure who we'll go with it on board on Trey with Trey Kirk the next green flag laps. We were just about to go on board with him.
I'm wondering. We know how the smoke model has come along. I'm wondering if you go through that dark area up there where you're kicking up dust, if that guy behind you is getting limited vision out of that.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
And in the NIS race I did, I mean, it was all the way to the top, a tiny cushion on the top that there was. So everybody was just rim riding the wall. And yeah, in 3 and 4, not as much in 1 and 2, but for some reason in 3 and 4, that dust that was kicked up was insane if you were in the middle of the pack or near the front but still behind people. It's so tough to see.
I mean, that could come into play a lot when you're coming through the corner. Vision is pretty necessary for racing. So, with the lack of dirt experience, a slick track, dirt flying up in your face, it's amazing you could even make it through a corner around here.
Also, for those who have, kept along with this series through the first 4 weeks, if anybody's wondering where Cody Pennell is, he was not able to make the race here tonight. But the next time you see him in a couple weeks in Martinsville, we'll see him in the 28 car instead of the 6. So looking forward to having him back in the series. He's won 3 of the first 4 races, so maybe just giving these guys a break after he's won so many races.
Martinsville, your favorite track?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and every time you broadcast at one, you wish you were in the car.
For 250 laps, I think I'm okay outside the car, honestly.
Yeah. I took a look at that on the schedule and went, no.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite track, but the only 250 lap race I'll do at Martinsville is NIS. But yeah, Cody Pennell right now does have a 47-point lead over Elliott Longenecker, so he should still be able to, if he takes drop points for this week, should still be able to, if they do drop points, keep that lead.
As fast as Cody is, I think even without drop points, he'll still be in a good position to fight back up there. Should that not happen, but I believe it's pretty much a staple everywhere. Well, there you go. Yeah, I'm agreeing with. Well, now the 22 has joined the "I have no front fender" crowd. Oh yeah. A lot of guys looked at that inside going, oh, that looks tempting. And they got down in there and went, no, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Oh, Trey Kirk slowed up a little bit there. Yeah. Oh. Oh, as he bangs the wall a little bit. I think the wall here is not doing as much damage to this car that would affect his performance, but it is helping get him around the track, I think. Otherwise, slowing him down a hair, but helping him get around the track. No, no, it's wiggly. Oh, that was a tough hit. Oh, man. You got to wonder how much this dirt is affecting their water temperature as well.
I don't think it really affects you. At least I didn't have any issues with it, and that was 125 laps, so I don't think that'll be really an issue. The biggest water temp wise, I think it's just if you take a big hit to the motor.
Okay. I've seen a lot of dirt kicking up on the front of that car, and that would tend to tell me it was restricting the airflow. I wonder if it's any different if you don't have a front bumper.
Yeah, not sure there. But we have reached past the lap 50 mark. There's a battle going on for second right now between Elliott Longenecker and Kobe Roberts. That 22 missing a lot of the front of that car, but we've seen a lot of speed out of that car tonight. A little bit of bumping and banging, too.
You got Elliott Longenecker hanging. He's pretty good distance back, but he's one little slip up here from Trey Kirk before he could catch up with him. If he could run, if Elliott could just run a good smooth corners and just hope for Trey to make a mistake.
Let's go on board with Kobe Roberts just to see what it's like being behind a car here. As, oh no, Ray Page is going to squeeze him into the wall. That's not what you like to see. Oh, and he gets into that slick stuff. And that might have been an unsafe pit entrance. Oh, and you see him in that slick stuff. Not good.
When you see the wheel turning that much, no.
He's still third right now. Even with all this, he's still 2 seconds ahead of Samuel Roberts. Those are lap cars in front of him. But that's the tough thing here. We always talk about a rhythm on these short tracks. Well, it's even harder to regain your rhythm here. It takes a lap and a half or two, as we have a spinner, Ray Page, so it takes even longer here, really, to regain that rhythm. Because if you, I mean, at least for me, confidence-wise, if I almost wreck it, it takes me a couple laps to gain the confidence to even send it into the turn like I was doing before I almost wrecked. So that's one thing you got to battle is confidence, especially when you're not a big-time dirt person.
Yeah. And Trey Kirk putting Alex Kowski a lap down. We have 6 cars on the lead lap.
Trey Kirk just been the absolute class of the field here tonight. We saw his iRating and stuff before the race. He is pretty good at dirt, I would say.
I think he's run a couple of races, I would say.
He marked this on the calendar when he saw the schedule come out for sure. He was like, oh, can't wait for that race. And, I mean, we've seen him be fast on the – oh, no, lap car in front of him. We've seen him be fast on other tracks, but, man, he sure loves dirt. As you can tell, he has a 6-second lead. So he just needs to be very patient with these lap cars because he has a big gap in between him and Elliott Longenecker. Just don't want to wreck yourself.
Yeah, he seems to be approaching him with that mindset of I've got a lead. I can work this guy. I don't have to pound past him.
As you see that right rear scrape, but that you're okay with that. That helps the car turn as long as you don't go over kind of the buffer there. Once you do, that's when you get your whole right side of the car on the wall. As we're under 20 laps to go now, and probably our longest green flag run here. And I mean, these drivers, we've seen some wrecking, sure, but these drivers have done a really nice job here tonight.
Yes, they have. For a lot of guys that are not dirt drivers, now we got 2 wide lap cars in front of him.
Oh man.
They are doing a great job, I believe.
Look at all that mud and dirt he's kicking up. Hope you're not.
Want to Ray Page, just following him around trying to learn.
Hope you're not claustrophobic because you're going to be right next to the wall here.
Well, that's a great camera angle. And the sparks coming off the back of the car from rubbing the wall. You can just see how slick that track is right there.
Yeah.
And how thin that dark line of traction is up on the high side.
As Trey Kirk with 15 coming to 14 laps to go, just working through lap traffic. Almost a 10-second lead over second place. That car in front of him is David Houck. That's third. That's 4th place going a lap down.
Yeah, and Samuel Roberts in 3rd place is not too far from being a lap down himself.
Here's an even better shot, honestly. You can really see that right rear. Oh, into the wall, actually. As we're going to go ahead.
He's doing about a second to a second and a half better than Elliott. He could lap the field before the end of this race if we go green.
Yeah, he's 9 seconds or so behind Elliott Longenecker, so I'm not sure that's going to be possible. But even to lap the top or up to the 4th place or 3rd place, that's insane. There's the 15 of Samuel Roberts in 3rd, right ahead of him. So, I mean,
yeah.
we interview 3 people a night at the end of these races, and we're going to be interviewing a lap car maybe. I mean, that's crazy. that just shows how much speed this 24 car has.
And the 15's trying his hardest to race him hard, race him clean, but just stay on the lead lap, but to no avail.
As yeah, he's currently about, I'd say, 6 or 7 seconds back from Elliott Longenecker. But even if he doesn't lap the whole field, lapped almost the whole field, and just a really good race run from the 24 here, as he is just, car spinning in front of him. I'm not sure what happened to him though. They blinked out. But just a really great run here from the 24. And it may not look like it because he's hitting the wall so much, but that's sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Well, I spent the first half of this race, every time somebody touched the wall or got sideways, thinking we were getting a wreck and going, but no, that's just the way this race goes.
Yeah, touching the wall is a part of it when you get up here near it. I mean, it's hard not to touch it just because you're so close to the wall by the end of this race. And also, if you don't really send it into the turn and turn that wheel really hard, you're not going to get the car turned enough up top, and that's when you're going to see these cars get tight and get up into the wall with both, or the whole right side of the car.
Yeah, and apparently you don't want that.
No, you don't want to jump that. You don't want to jump that cushion. That cushion is very small now compared to what it was at the beginning of the race. If you look for the really dark stuff, I mean, you can barely see it up there now. It's a very small cushion up there on the top lane, and so you got to be very careful not to jump it. It's just amazing, though. I mean, I'm not a dirt person, but it just amazes me how much the track changes. Before this race started, I mean, that cushion that's about maybe a foot wide now was maybe 5 to 10 feet wide before.
Yeah.
So it's really amazing how much these tracks change throughout a race, even just an 80-lap race. Imagine doing 250.
Tell you, the one guy really digging right now is Elliott Longenecker. He's thinking, I want to stay on the lead lap.
He's got 4 laps in about
here
2
comes
seconds.
Trey Kirk.
Yeah, he's got about 2 seconds on him, and he's got to survive for 4 laps. Man, what a crazy race for Trey Kirk. But a great run. Elliott Longenecker, Samuel Roberts, David Houck, Alex Simkowski, your top 5. We're not taking anything away from these other drivers. It's just an insane show that the 24 has put on here tonight.
Yes, it is. These other guys are still running respectable lap times. They're just not running the same as Trey Kirk as he comes up on Elliott Longenecker.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's all I can say.
Lap to field.
That's all I can say, Dad. Wow. As we're down
2 to go.
2 laps to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and he collects the white flag. 1 to go for Trey Kirk here at Bristol Motor Speedway, who probably wishes the rest of the schedule was dirt, as he has absolutely dominated tonight through 3 and 4 for the last time.
He'll want dirt Talladega before you know it.
Around to collect the checkered flag. Trey Kirk wins at Bristol Motor Speedway here in the dirt, and he laps the entire field while doing it. Wow.
Elliott Longenecker coming home second with Samuel Roberts third. David Houck coming in fourth, and Alex Simkowski, who had some troubles earlier around, rallies back for a 5th place finish. And a little short track love there at the end.
Great night of racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway for the ARCS Monday Night Lightning Cup cars, or Cup drivers. And, well, great paint scheme to run this race in because it's pretty white.
Yeah.
You can see all the dirt that's on it up front.
Yeah, and the only damage to that car is from rubbing the wall and from the little tap he got there at the end. That was a great race from Trey Kirk and an entertaining show from everybody. I would venture to say even better than the Cup race today.
Man, what a race put on, and we got Samuel Roberts in here already, so we'll go ahead and start off with the 3rd place finisher. Hey, Samuel, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got one.
Hey, man. Well, first of all, great showing here tonight. I compliment to all of you drivers, honestly, to have that good of a race. at a track like this. That's tough. So first of all, congrats on your third place finish. Take us through how tough that track was near the end of the race.
As time went on, the track it just got really slick. There wasn't really anything you could run, but up there kind of close to the wall, and it was tough, but I mean it was fun because you don't really get to do this with cup cars. So I had a blast, even though it's a lot of lap cars and everything else, but it was fun.
Hey, Samuel, this is Sam. How many pucker moments did you have this evening? That was a very interesting race and a good show, but there had to be, your arms got to be tired.
Yeah, I was sitting here fighting the wheel the whole entire time. The first half of the race was all right, but like I said, the track just kind of it slicked away and it got tough.
Well, you guys did put on a great show, though. You got any shout outs for us?
I'd like to thank Ryan and ARCS and Elliot and Cody for putting this all together. It's really fun, something to look forward to, and that's about it.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you again in 2 weeks.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Great race by him. Now we'll move on to Elliot Longenecker, the second place finisher. Hey, Elliot, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, I believe you started this race fifth. We saw a little bit of restart antics going on where some people were squirrely, and you took full advantage of it. You moved up to second, and you didn't let it go. Take us through your race.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. I was a little embarrassed for bringing out the first caution. I got too low and too much throttle and wheel input and spun it around right in front of everybody. So that was a little embarrassing. But yeah, after that next restart, I just got a good run and was able to pass a bunch of people. And man, gotta give Trey Kirk some props, man. He was fast.
Hey, Elliot, this is Sam. Great race tonight. There at the end, how hard were you digging to stay on the lead lap?
Man, I was digging hard to stay on the lead lap, and lap car kind of blocked me there, and I got in the back of him. I apologize about that. I should have found a way around, but yeah, I was digging hard. I didn't want to go lap down. I wanted to stay on that lead lap.
I think this might be the first time we've interviewed a guy that was lapped down at the end of a race. But you put on a great show tonight. This was a great race, and there was a lot of fun here tonight. You got any shout outs for us?
Yeah, I mean, just all these drivers in ARCS, they a lot of them are brand new, and a lot of them are, or some of them are veterans too. But I mean, they just all work together, show each other a lot of respect. I mean, this was a tough track, and for us to not have just a complete yellow filled race, it's a testament to all these guys that come out and practice all week long and get ready for this show.
All right. Well, we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and finally, I mean, man, Trey, you got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, obviously you know, and everybody knows that. I mean, you lapped the entire field. First of all, I think that's the first time I've ever seen that happen. Take us through how you were able to be so fast, man, because, I mean, you were setting a blistering pace even when you were hitting the wall.
Yeah, I mean, the track just kept getting closer and closer to the top. I mean, after that green flag run kept going on and on, we didn't have a cushion left up there. About the only option was to knock the wall down, and seemed like it was the fastest way around there. Obviously, if you kept it off the wall, it'd been faster. It was just hard to keep it off the wall. But we had that long green flag run and just avoiding lap traffic and just keeping a steady pace obviously helped me catch up to everybody right there then.
Hey, Trey, this is Sam in the booth. Great run tonight. I think I marked a couple of spots where you didn't hit the wall, and I'll get to that to you later. But how slick did it become later in that long green run, just down the straightaways?
I mean, I was probably not even a half a throttle down the straightaways, and you have to crank it back up to the corner just to get the rear end to rotate. But I mean, all the way around it was slick. You just had to try your best to keep it off the wall. Now the straightaways, even coming off the corner, I mean, it was tough all the way around.
Well, you put on a great show for us tonight. You got any shout outs?
Uh, Everybody at ARCS, Elliot, Cody, putting this thing on. You guys for streaming it. Everybody in Team Sideswipe. Yeah, thank you guys.
Well, you're welcome, and thanks for putting on a great show tonight. And I'm sure you'll be in Discord a little later trying to get a dirt Talladega, right?
I will be nice. I mean, coming from a dirt background, it kind of helps here. But
We could
yeah.
tell. All right. Thank you much. We'll see you again in 2 weeks.
All right, thank you.
Man, well, what a race, first of all. Before I talk again about our leader, I mean, the entire field did a great job here tonight. And a lot of green flag laps. A couple of cautions, but man, 80 laps and you have that many green flag laps. Let me actually get it on how many we did. And while I do, I'll let you take over and give us your last thoughts on tonight's race.
Well, coming into it, not knowing what to expect, not being from any dirt experience myself, I really thought it was going to be a lot of caution flags, and I thought it was going to be a big mess. But these guys I think they did a great job of putting on a good show tonight. I think they, for the most part, um, adapted to the track as far as the race went on. I know we had some guys spinning, but man, that's a slick track out there. I challenge anybody to try to do it. I ran a few laps before the race tonight, and after about 5 laps, I said, "No, I can't do this." But these guys were really impressive and putting on a good show. Oh, it had to be. I believe we had the 74 of Jeremy Baralt maybe have led a lap there. Baralt. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to get the dirt off the Bristol track.